Hello, everyone, and welcome to SpeedgolfHer Takes the Mic. I'm very excited about our guest today. We have Filip here, the engine behind Team Belgium, with us. Welcome.
Hello, Lauren. Happy to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. So you've had a very busy month. So correct me if I'm wrong, but last month was the first time that Team Belgium had ever competed in a world championship. Is that right?
That was right, and I was part of it.
That is so awesome. And I had the pleasure of seeing you in Japan, which was quite an awesome experience, I think, for all of us. But not only was it the first time that Team Belgium competed in the World Championship, but you were also inducted into the International Speed Golf Association, which is a big deal and really a testament to you and all of your hard work. So congratulations.
Thank you. On behalf of Speedgolf Belgium, we are so happy to be part of the family.
That is just awesome. So have you had much traction in Belgium for speed golf?
We are the youngest among the family, I can tell you. But I think me and my wife and one other Belgian participating is really inspiring others. And we saw this just 2 weeks ago with our Belgium Open Indoor Speed Golf, with even some elite players now competing for Belgium.
I think that's so awesome. And I have to say, I think that Team Belgium, although not on the podium, was clearly the best dressed at at the World Championships. Those bright colors were pretty awesome. Did you come up with that?
Well, the idea was, if you're not there for the win, let's make sure that we make it colorful.
Well, you look good, that's for sure. Oh, that's awesome. And so you did just hold the inaugural Belgium Open Indoor Championship, which I really want to hear about. I am absolutely fascinated by that, and we'll get to that shortly. But first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about your speed golf journey and why you play the game in this modern way? I do this with every guest on the show because I do think it's such an awesome way to play, and I want people to hear about it.
Yeah, for sure. So for me personally, I have to go back to 2019. At that time, I was preparing for a triathlon, just to finish it, a quarter of a triathlon, in fact. So I was at my physical best level ever, taking a lot of time to do the swimming, running, biking, but golf is and was my favorite sport. And I said, after finishing that one triathlon event, can I not combine this training part with golf? I was not even aware that speed golf existed. So I started looking around, something like biathlon. It should exist, isn't it? Looking around on the internet, wow, speed golf, it exists. But where is it in Belgium? So I had to start organizing it. Well, not literally. There has been some events in the past in Belgium before 2019. And even one time was there a Belgium Speed Golf Championship, 9 holes in 2019. I was 2 weeks late to find out. And it was never repeated. So ever since then, I continue to organize my local event. And now things changed, and I'm president of Speedgolf Belgium. And now we are going to organize the Belgium Open outdoor and indoor. And as you mentioned just earlier, we did 2 weeks ago the very first Belgium Open indoor speed golf.
That is just awesome. And it is such a great way to play the game. I mean, I started playing speed golf just because, like you, golf was my passion. I played a lot, but I started running out of time as I got older with a family and job. And I just started running out of time to at least play competitively or practice competitively. Just having 5 hours or finding 5 hours to play 18 holes or to practice to go to the range for several hours. Like I just didn't have time for it. And I did feel like that piece of me was missing a little bit. So speed golf, I mean, still gives me just the opportunity to continue to play the game I love by doing it at a faster pace. I mean, I can't find 5 hours, but I can definitely find an hour to play 18 holes or a half hour to play 9 holes. I mean, that's easy to fit in your day on the bookends of the year. So That's why I started playing. But you also referenced biathlon, which is something I've thought a lot about, especially watching the last Olympics, how similar it is to a biathlon where you're combining these two different disciplines. And it does have a lot of similarities to biathlon, even so much as like the putting, that fine motor skill. Not unlike the shooting, you do need to get your heart rate to a reasonable level where you can make that fine motor skill. And boy, that's why I think speed golf, although probably is never going to be a sport for the huge masses, would be the perfect Olympic sport. Do you agree?
We all agree. I mean, and especially someone not playing golf watching the Olympics, I'm convinced they would find more pleasure in following speed golf than normal golf. Right. That's my conviction.
Yep, absolutely. It would be fascinating to watch, and what a fun way to capture our sport. So fingers crossed, I think we're headed in the right direction of at least getting more eyes on the sport, and certainly more teams, more countries joining our international alliance, which is really great. So
yes.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to the indoor speed golf. So as I said, I think this is absolutely fascinating, because one of the best things about our sport, I would say, but also one of the challenges, is how international speed golf is. And to compete, you really have to be committed to doing a lot of travel, a lot of international travel, if you want to compete. But this way of playing is really intriguing because it allows you to play with or against other people, other countries in the world without actually being in the same physical space, which I think is really neat. And of course, the obvious benefit, it allows you to play year round too, which looking outside my window, I could use a track man right now because we've got about a foot of snow on the ground where we are. But that's an obvious benefit as well. But so can you tell those that don't know how indoor speed golf is played, how it's played, and maybe how it's similar to speed golf or different speed golf?
Yeah, you already touched upon some aspects that are further down the road in the roadmap for me. Played in a kind of international competition is finally what I intend to develop. But I started basically last year with a test event locally here with 10 participants. Indoor speed golf, simply said, it's playing on a golf simulator and running. No matter how you're organizing your running, can be on a treadmill, can just be that you run outdoors or whatever. It solves, not even in competition, but just for playing indoor speed golf, it solves several aspects. Like you only can go out early in the morning on a normal golf course. At least in Belgium, all the golf courses are fully packed. So if you want to do the sunrise, even people in front of you are still there until dawn. So you need to catch that first tee time to play your normal speed golf outdoor. Indoor speed golf, 24/7, all year long, whatever the weather conditions. The challenge is, how are you doing your running? That's correct. So there are challenges, other challenges than the outdoor. And it has similarities, it has differences. I'm not going to say it will replace outdoor. On the contrary, the real deal will still be the outdoor version, and meeting up in person, Worlds Week, seeing each other is a great experience. But like we need to take care of our planet, the indoor version has the ambition to have a world event with a limited or reduced footprint as well. You don't need to travel the other side of the world. If ever down the road we have this multi-location event. So where are we? We did 2 weeks ago the Belgium Open Indoor Speed Golf, which was locally in Belgium. But we invited as well others to try the same format, playing the same rules. And for example, in Finland, 6 people were playing the same course. They needed to set the similar parameters on the TrackMan, and they created their own running track similar to Belgium. It can never be exactly the same. I think they had a U-turn we didn't have, so it slows down when you have a U-turn. So there are a lot of things to tweak on to make it a real international concept. But the first steps have been taken, and it looks great.
That is awesome. That's great. And I didn't think of that piece where you can play all day. And you're right, that's another challenge of speed golf, in that you're playing faster than the rest of the people on the golf course. So that is very interesting too. So tell us some of the logistics. So you set it up, you hit the shot, and then what happens?
So different from the outdoor version, you don't take your clubs while running. You might bump into the door or on the treadmill. So you just leave the clubs there. That's also why we limit the clubs to maximum 5, 1 putter and 4 other clubs. And you just start running without your clubs. And then there are a few differences. I tried all the different possible approaches, like running the distance you hit, which seems so logic, but it doesn't work, because once you hit in the water, the simulator will tell you you hit 170, but it doesn't tell you you need to drop only 60 meters further. That's the distance to run.
Got it.
It's not working to run the distance you hit. So we simplified it to make it really a simple, workable format. You always run the same predetermined distance. And what distance, that depends on the game you play. It can be 100 meter, 150 meter, 200 meters. In our case, it was a track of 120 meters, going via the back door out, coming around the building in the front door in, and that made 120 meters. So it is simplified by always running the same distance. And then one question remains, but when do you need to run? After every shot or whatever? No, also there we make it really simple. You run each time you hole out and running to the next tee box. That's one part. And while playing your hole, you run as if you play green in regulation. On a par 3, you have one long shot, and for putting, you don't need to run. So you run after your first shot on a par 3. Even if you didn't hit it really well and you need a second shot, only one time running on a par 3. And then it goes on. A par 4 takes 2 runs, and a par 5 takes 3 runs. So that's the difference also. Everyone will run exactly the same distance in the indoor version, while outdoor, the player who is not so playing well will do zigzag and run more distance.
Right. Oh, that is really interesting. So that was going to be my next question, is because of the putting. But if you had to run, if you were putting or chipping, but that makes a lot of sense. So you're running the same distances as the person next to you, pretty much, right? Every hole.
And you just mentioned it, as the person next to you. That's also a difference. In the outdoor version, we start with 4 or 5 minutes interval between players. So it's a kind of serial start. With the indoor version, you can start with multiple players simultaneously. So in parallel, depending on the number of bays or boxes you have available. In Belgium, we had 3 available. So 3 players start at the same moment. You instantly feel whether you're running ahead or behind, and you can do your best to catch up or whatever. Outdoors, you only find out because you catch up the one in front of you that you're doing great, or the one behind you is catching up and you're doing not so great. So it's a different feeling. It really is so much fun to see 3 people or more playing exactly at the same time together. The running is happening at the same moment. So it's a different feeling.
That is really, really neat, and something I didn't think about either. So it's a little bit more like a race, and that you know where your competitors are, which is, interesting, because you're right. Regular speed golf, you finish the round, you have no idea where you stand until the last person finishes behind you. And even then, sometimes it's a while before you know where you stand, which is pretty
Well, we did have 23 participants, so we had only 3 at the same time running and playing. You cannot have an idea about all the others that will still play after you or that already played. But with the three, and we try to group them from the same level so that among your similar level you have an idea, but you are not watching the other bay to see how many shots they do. But at least for the running, you have a good idea whether you're running ahead or not.
Excellent. And how long did it take you to play 18 holes of indoor speed golf?
Well, whatever I would say, it depends how much did you need to run as well. But the faster golfers only took 38 minutes. We opted for a gimme circle of 2.4 meters to speed up things as well. And the running altogether, they had to run 6.3 or 4 kilometers. There was no uphill or downhill because it's a flat track. So all that comes into play. But 38 minutes, that are the top players, because it was a teaching pro who is a marathon runner who won in Belgium, and he could literally compete in the World Championship. If I compare to Laurie from Finland, who did the same, also did 38 minutes, but he needed a few shots less compared to our Belgian winner.
Very interesting. Excellent. And who were the champions? Who were the winners?
So overall, although not officially, Laurie from Finland won. But we stated up front, if you're not coming to Belgium, you just add reference scores and you're not officially winning, because we did not yet have the official organization at the other location. That is the next step. So we go for multi-location next year's. And every location that officially will participate needs a local crew to verify the running, the following the rules. And there are a few rules to refine or to define, like can someone else fetch your ball and put it already on place while you're doing the running? Can they tee up? Can they hand over your club and choose your club? Can they shout out the remaining distance? All things that help to speed up. On all of them, I would say yes, because you cannot prevent people to do that, to help you. So we look forward to the next years, and there will be refinements in the set of rules, but we have already the real basic rules that work perfectly.
That's great. So if I wanted to, or if somebody listening wants to try this, maybe has a simulator, what would you suggest? You mentioned you could use a treadmill too, right? If you had one easily accessible. But what would you suggest for somebody that's trying this either at home or a local, somewhere local?
Well, let's say even completely without the competition, just try your own indoor speed golf. For me, you don't even need to run. You can just do jumping jacks in between. And you literally simulate the heartbeat going up by doing some kind of sport before you hit. And then we should define the number of jumping jacks after every long shot, for example, to make it the most easy way of practicing your indoor speed golf without needing to run outdoors or without a treadmill. But that's then again not in competition, because are you doing your jumping jacks correctly or not? But a treadmill is definitely the way, for me at least, to professionalize it, because the running, to make sure that it's exactly the same over different locations, for me it's with a treadmill. It also will tell you afterwards that you exactly did that distance. While running outdoors, it might happen that you need to run 2 times in a row. Imagine on a par 3, you hit your first shot and it's in the gimme circle. By the time you come back, you're already at the next tee box, and you still need to run from the one holing out to the next, and you forget about, oh yes, I need to run again. Nobody is measuring your distance you run, but the treadmill will tell at the end, I see that you missed 120 meters. Please, before we finish your time, do one more run. So everything is already in my mind. Most things are written out, how the most professional way to organize it should look like. For now, we still do it with running outdoors because it's more easy. We need to convince indoor golf centers to maybe invest in a similar type of treadmill. It will all take a few years before we are there at the top professional level for indoor speed golf. and in the meantime, we do it with outdoor running or whatever.
Right. Oh, I think that's great. That's something I am definitely going to try. And I would love for my college athletes, I coach a college team, to try as well, because what a great way in the off season to keep in shape while still keeping your golf going. And I mean, just beyond speed golf, there's so many benefits to that I could see. I mean, even swinging with your heart rate up or elevated, I think would be very beneficial for my college students too. Just like to get comfortable with that feeling of your heart racing, that same feeling that you get when you are on the first tee or you have to hit a very high pressure shot. That same feeling that you get where your heart is elevated, you can simulate by doing that as well. So I could see lots of benefits even beyond the competition for doing that. So that's excellent. Very good. And, I heard an interesting fact the other day, and I think this is accurate, but I may want to fact check it. But that there are more indoor golf rounds played worldwide than outdoor golf rounds, which I thought was fascinating. I mean, certainly in the area that I live, I know there has to be more outdoor than indoor, even given our weather. But you think about big cities, you think about New York City or Seoul or Tokyo. If you live in these cities, maybe you aren't playing regular golf. Maybe you don't have the opportunity or the access to play outdoors. So maybe that stat is correct in that people are playing more indoor rounds because of access issues and because of time constraints.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the USGA was trying to come up with a handicap system for indoor golf, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. Do you find in Belgium a lot of people are playing or opting to play indoors?
More and more, yes. And in Belgium, we have no space anymore to add more outdoor golf courses. So whatever we want to grow, it needs to come from indoor golf as well. And then similarly, the potential for speed golf would also come from more easily playing it indoors, I do believe.
Right.
Like I said, you can play 24/7 all year round indoor, but you need to just find a way to do your running.
Right. And that access issue too that you mentioned, and being able to play any time of day is huge. Huge.
It
So
is.
definitely something to think about, and something to think about too for people that live in big cities, as I mentioned, who maybe don't want to trek their whole golf bag on the subway for an hour to go play golf. Maybe they want to bring 3 clubs and go to an indoor center and play in that way, which is pretty neat. So last question, what's next? What's the vision for either Team Belgium or indoor speed golf moving forward?
Team Belgium literally hopes to send elite golfers to the major events. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, we had the Teaching Pro participating. So I would say Speedgolf Belgium is successful if we can grow at the grassroots, the community, but also if we can add elite golfers to the international competitions. And for the indoor, working towards this winter version World Championship, but I wouldn't call it World Championship. I mean, the outdoors is World Championship, international indoor competition with reduced footprint. So basically, I would call to golf centers or country organizations saying, next edition 2025 in December, we want to join. We want to be one of those 3, 4, maximum 5 locations simultaneously organizing the next edition of International Indoor Speed Golf. We will grow to 10, 20, 30 locations we need to jump with small steps, or not jump, but go with small steps, because we will encounter challenges of simultaneously organizing it. For example, how will we do the prize giving? Probably in an online meeting or something. So no, this is I definitely look for locations and organizations that want to jump in.
Awesome. Yeah, well, all great things to think about. Count me in for that. That sounds
Okay.
really awesome. And as I said, I've got to find a way at our college to make that happen. But I think that's just pretty awesome. So, well, thank you, Filip. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and also appreciate all you do, not only for Speedgolf Belgium, but for our sport in general, and for taking the lead on this indoor speed golf journey. That's awesome.
It's literally my pleasure, and Speedgolf Belgium might be small, literally small country. We hope to inspire by being a pioneer in indoor speed golf and continue doing that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and best of luck this winter.
Thanks, and may I wish you all the best for 2025. First of all, being healthy, of course.
Thank you, and likewise. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.